Hi everyone, good evening. Welcome to Peninsula 360, our newly launched business program, Marketing Watch 360. See, I'm a little bit nervous now since this is our very first one, and it is our pleasure and to have our two amazing guests, and they're from Donato. And welcome.
Thank you.
And we know that there are so many businesses have been suffering during COVID. However, Donato has been doing as good as usual, and now we're just gonna take away some secret tonight and to see how you guys have been doing, how you how you are making your business still a success and during times like this. And also, and tonight we're gonna interview one of the local business organizations, and her name is Crystal, and she's gonna be one of our guests tonight and join us to have this kind of conversation with us. And hopefully during this program, you can get some insights and some knowledge and information, and to help your business grow and thrive. And just never forget, there is hope.
Absolutely, always. That's the last one to die.
Okay, question number one. How has COVID impact your business?
Well, I would say that it's been an amazing and incredible year. I mean, of course, the pandemic has definitely affected our business and all the community, not just our business, but also people in general. And in a great way, but it also opened our eyes and in certain others, and make us understand that certain things are not to mess around with, like nature, and but also like the way you sanitize your place and all that stuff, and then it teaches you other things, how to pivot and try to reinvent yourself into another different kind of business in order to survive and keep providing jobs and all the beautiful stuff for our staff, but also for our families and for our guests. That's what we learned so far, and we're still learning. And hopefully it looks like we're headed in the right direction now, with all the vaccine happening and the indoor and outdoor reopening and stuff like that. So
yeah, that's amazing. During times like this, as a business owner, you're still thinking about giving and serving, and because I can tell from your words, and which is just impressive and incredible.
Thank you.
And so you just mentioned it helped you to think differently, think outside of the box, and how to pivot, right?
Yep.
So tell us, how did you pivot? Especially,
I can't give away my secret.
but you have to.
Yeah, we will.
I'm gonna do my best. So, what are the marketing strategies have you been using and during times like this, and which are the strategies that you found are extremely effective?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things about the pandemic is that, especially with the restaurant business, as soon as things like sort of shut down, it really came down to like growing like your base of support basically, and sort of identifying like what are our strongest points in like reaching our customers. So for us, like we have a very strong newsletter. So it was about like using that newsletter to pivot in new directions, whether it was like to emphasize our takeout, or like as we launched a retail section for our whole business, where we're like producing jars, we're like selling biscotti, like slicing prosciutto to sell to people. It's about using the newsletter to like reach our strong base of customers and continue to like show them that we're there. Because a lot of the restaurants that didn't make it were the ones who got caught dead in the water and just didn't do anything. Because then people, especially in an industry like this, people will just forget about you. So I think the strongest thing that that was so good about my dad was that he acts right away. And then, all I did really was just let people know that that's still happening.
That's great. I think as business, business owners and entrepreneurs, and taking immediate actions is the key.
Yep, definitely.
And then you mentioned about the newsletter. So may I ask you, what kind of like newsletter are you like distributing to your clients? Like the traditional paper one or the digital one?
So let me just make a point out of that one. Okay. But it's also like in moments like this is when you see the results of your hard work through the years that you're operating before. Over the year, we have always stressed on building a great newsletter, which is digital, by the way, and create a following through our newsletter. And when the COVID hit, and we say, what is it that we do right? Well, we do food right. Well, why don't we expand on the food and turn it, like you said, in the retail size and all the stuff? And the best tool that we had was this thing that we've been building for 12 years within our walls, collecting emails, telling people what we do, and then creating with different things. And then we have some people Nadia that works for us that does a great job in creating the newsletter. He edited because if I do, there's a bunch of Italian mistakes, and then we use
my main job, really.
Communicates with the customer, and that's what he gets in, and he tells them, hey, we created these cooking classes and all these beautiful events where we posted out there. At the beginning, we were doing like meal kits. At the beginning, we started off with meal kits, so he was creating this little cool video that were showing what is the meal kit. Oh, today we do these things, so you see the little video of this. And then that one developed into an actual full blast cooking class via Zoom, where people were like engaging with us when we were seeing what they were preparing with us, because we send out all the ingredients and all this stuff. And you have all these people that are making this amazing food on a Sunday afternoon to eat. And you're sitting there teaching them, and you're like, it brings tears to my eyes to watch how great people can cook at home, knowing that the moment you reopen, they probably come right back at home, come right back to you, because they don't want to cook at home all the time.
Exactly.
But it's just, the key is stay in touch with your customers. So, and he made a great point. The newsletter and all this stuff is great. Your social media, you should be very aggressive and bring it out there, what it is that you do. And the people around here are incredible. They support you in every way possible. There's nothing more that I could say that is explain in a clear way how wonderful our customer base has been over this past year and a half now. I mean, basically.
Yeah, this is amazing. And I believe that, yes, and relationship is the key. It's always about building relationship. And before, mostly you were building relationship in person when customers coming in, and then you talk with them and you engage with them. But then when COVID hit, then there's no way that you can meet them in person. But then you just pivot online, and which is great, and through newsletters, through social media. So have you guys been doing any like social media marketing or like ads, things like that, and to to
that's a question for you.
Get more like clients, and which social media platform do you think is the most effective way so far, and for helping you getting more traffic?
Yeah, I think we played around a lot with Facebook ads, particularly in like July when we had first launched our like retail online store, like e-commerce, which is like what a lot of businesses did. And then, I mean, we had a lot of flexibility to play with it too, because like near the end of the year, Facebook released a bunch of like free ad credits. And in general, those are like really strong for drawing a lot of traffic to the site. But over time, I noticed that the conversions weren't that great, especially like on Facebook. And what I started thinking about over time was like we can invest a lot of time and money into something like Facebook ads, which like according to a lot of business research and like a lot of like what the research I was reading was, it's a pretty trendy thing to do. But for us, it started to make a little bit less sense, and it made a little bit more sense to think about the areas that we were strong in, such as like, our newsletters, or maybe thinking about like affiliate marketing, like reaching out to people locally in the Bay Area who love our products and getting them to promote it. So trying to think of like other avenues besides social media marketing, just because like that one was so strong. I do think there is a lot of potential in Instagram ads depending on like the brand. But that's still something like we're kind of working on and tweaking here and there. It's a very like iterative, you got to try a bunch of small things all the time. And, when we're working in such like a small operation, sometimes you don't have the time to put all that effort in for something that has, not as great a return on investment as something else might.
Okay, so this inspired my next question. So what kind of like resources are you looking for? Like, do you think that it's going to help you about your social media marketing and in marketing in general?
In terms of, so just like any resources?
Any resource, like what kind of like support
Mhm.
like do you think that you would need for social media marketing or marketing in general?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good question. I'd say like probably the biggest challenge has been there's like a lot of research on social media marketing that I was able to find, but there was less information on like how to like interact well with followers. Because I feel like a lot of the power in social media comes, or like one thing that I read is that like social media is strongest when you're treating it like, you know, a conversation at a party or something. You know, like if you're at a party, people don't just want to hear you talk about yourself. They want some back and forth. So I think the thing that would be most helpful is some sort of guide to how to interact better with customers, and how to use it to your advantage, and how to like where and how to tap into like the communities that exist on social media, because that's where the real strength is. Like, how do we find communities on like Instagram or Facebook that's just full of people who love Italian food? Like, that's what we're trying. That's where that's what we need
dream
help
customers.
with. Exactly. Yeah. How do we find our dream customers on social media? Like, so
it might take some time.
Yeah.
Right. And then you can't, like, for most of the small business owners, and they are heavily rely on like cash flow. Like they literally cannot wait. Like they're not like you guys have been doing business for years, and you really have a really strong like list of your like loyal clients, right?
Yeah.
But most of the small business owners, some of them just getting started, and they don't have that kind of list. And then and in regards to social media, they don't have time to just build the relationship and navigate in this huge ocean. Social media is fast, but if you don't figure out the way, and it's gonna take you a lot of time, energy, and with nothing coming out, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So yeah, we do have another guest, and her name is Crystal. She's from Renaissance Entrepreneurship Center, and she is here with us, and she's gonna connect with us virtually. And
wow.
So, hi, Crystal. Can you hear us? Hi, Crystal.
Oh, hi. What a typical thing. I was muted, so I think I've done that quite a lot during the pandemic and through Zoom. So, hello.
You're fine now. We're so glad to have you tonight.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
So tell us more about the Renaissance Center and how you guys have been helping entrepreneurs and navigate during pandemic.
Sure, definitely. So for a little background about Renaissance, Renaissance Entrepreneurship Center is an organization that's been around the Bay Area for over 35 years. We're a nonprofit, and we are funded to really help increase the communities and serve under-resourced minorities, women. We do serve anybody and everybody, but that's really the mission behind Renaissance. And we offer programs that really help businesses get from either the beginning stages of wanting to open their business, or if they've been in business for years, to either grow or scale. Through the pandemic, we definitely felt like we were on the front lines with the businesses, trying to get them to pivot their business, bring their business online, use things such as getting a website if they didn't have a website, or bringing their business online through Etsy or selling, and really just trying to pivot their marketing. And then also one of the things that we did during the pandemic, we were funded through the County of San Mateo and SAMCETA to offer small business grants. So we offered $5,000 to $25,000 grants that we were able to get to the small business owners who were really, really in need. Obviously, you guys know how much you've struggled, and how so many businesses have been struggling during this time.
Oh, that's great. And I think people do need those resources and funds. And so if they are interested, or can they just search online and apply from your site?
So that particular grant program is over, but we do have one right now for businesses that have to be eligible in San Mateo County. And that is what we call our digital tools and grants. And that would be a $2,500 grant to be able to access if they needed any new upgrades on computer, software, If they need any one-on-one services, we have business consultants that work closely with businesses on pretty much anything that your business needs. We have somebody that can work with you.
Okay, sounds great. And we're just talking about marketing. So from your point of view, what kind of like online marketing you think is the most effective?
Definitely. I heard one of his comments about the return on investment, and I think that's really huge, and that plays a critical role because you really need to see where you're investing, not just your funds, but your time and your energy, and see if that is bringing you your customers. I think one of the biggest advantages in our classes is finding out your target market and discovering where your clients are. For some businesses, social media is not going to work. For businesses that are trying to reach the younger population, my kids, are on Facebook. So, they're on other avenues of social media. So I think really figuring out, and like they were saying, engaging with the customers and figuring out just whatever your particular business is. For this, it's a restaurant. But I would say, really getting into the virtual and digital marketing is definitely important because a lot of things are going that way. But then also just, doing, like you said, the return on investment and seeing where you're putting your funds and energy.
That makes sense. So what other resources do you guys offer for small business owners?
We offer classes and workshops and one-on-one support with business consultants. Right now, we're assisting, and I don't know if you guys are aware of the revitalization fund for restaurants that's out right now. And that's definitely something that we're able to help clients with the application process, and pretty much anything we can help with, whether it's marketing, whether it's your finances, your bookkeeping. I think during before, when businesses were trying to reopen during COVID, we helped navigate some of the PPE and some of those areas as well. So I think we pretty much can help in any area of working with small businesses.
So what is your advice for small business owners since everything is reopening now? And I think people would love to hear from you.
Yeah, definitely. I think what he mentioned was he was doing a lot of research, and I think that's definitely something to do. I think being okay with not knowing it all and not being afraid to ask for help, and then just seeing what resources are out there, because there are a lot of resources out there for small businesses. And so not feeling like you need to take it on your own, and not feeling like, I know that it can get really, small business owners can get really busy just running the business. So a lot of times that they feel, I don't have time to sit down and work with somebody, and you're just getting the hustle bustle of your everyday business. But I think having somebody, look at your marketing plan, look at your marketing strategy, look at your income, your revenue, and your expenses, and see really if there's any way to increase your revenue. And I think that, just being able to ask for help and to use resources would be my number one advice.
Thank you, Crystal. And we really appreciate your advice.
Definitely. Wow. It sounds like he's a great asset to the community. I mean, we should reach out to them. I mean, wow, impressive, Crystal.
Yeah.
Wow. Impressive, very, very. I mean, every point she touched is very important. I mean,
okay, great.
Just the fact that they're there helping people getting through it is amazing. I mean, wow, hats off to you.
Great.
Definitely a great.
So you're not just giving away tonight, and you're taking away as well, right?
Oh yeah, definitely, always. I mean, that's one thing I learned in my career. You learn something. Try to learn something every day, and the people in the community like Crystal and her association is what makes a difference for people that have small businesses, to have the support, people that can help you through all these things. And I mean, for me, I'm lucky I have my son and my other people support around that can help me navigate through these things. But I can see the frustration on applying on some of these grants and stuff like that. And, it's admirable. I mean, I'm really impressed with you and what you do, Crystal. I'm impressive.
Thank you. And where are you guys located? on the peninsula?
In Redwood City.
Redwood City. Okay, great. So yeah, I'm definitely going to come check you out.
Oh, thank you.
Definitely. It's a very well-known restaurant in Redwood City.
Okay, great. Awesome.
Thank you for having you tonight.
Yeah, thank you guys. Yeah, I'm excited to come and I love
Nice to meet you, Crystal.
nice to meet you.
Thanks
for having me. Have a good night.
Thank you.
So what are the mistakes that you guys made when COVID hit at the beginning?
Oh, all kind.
Yes, and
Well, I mean, we started doing we had like almost like an evolution as time went on. So we started with little things like a meal kit, and then we next thing you know, we go into full blast online store to full blast. What do you call these? Event, virtual event, or even gift baskets. We got into these things thinking, hey, we need to give jobs to people, we need to survive as a business. But it became overwhelming, and I gotta say, the past 6 months I've more learned about size of cardboard boxes and weight and how much it costs to ship and everything that I didn't really want to learn before this hit. But it's become part of had become part of our business, and we just had to learn so much. And I mean, I don't think there was a day that went by that we didn't make a mistake. I mean, because we were new and we learned from our mistakes, we got better. And I'm not saying that now we're doing perfectly, but I mean, I think that our shipping, our packaging, and everything else is done a lot better. Just that it's a work in progress. You don't make mistake if you don't try. You don't get better if you don't try.
Exactly.
So the mistakes, they're there, but if there is a mistake, usually there's also a solution. So that helps us learn even how, deal with mistakes in a different way. Mistakes that we never ran into because we never tried to do that stuff.
It's always learning process.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Let's just say we shipped like 1,000 packages in December, and those were not all shipped perfectly.
Oh, I see. So,
but I mean, we had. I say that we had the vast majority of the customers that received our stuff were really happy, and we had some that we had to learn that shipping to Canada might not be the best thing to do because we had customers, and shipping to Canada and Mexico outside of the borders of the United States might not be something that we want to be looking into it because. A little more complicated documents and packages get broken and all that kind of stuff. So those were the most challenging one, I would say. Would you say that?
Yeah, shipping became a huge headache. But
oh gosh, yeah.
So have you found that pandemic has been impacting your business like financially?
Definitely. I mean, it's one thing to have a restaurant full of customers, and then you try to do something, and compared to having a restaurant empty and try to generate the same revenue and keep the same people working, you got to reinvent yourself. You got to look at your business in a completely different way. We had to do it, and I think that the pandemic was declared on March 13. On March 15, we're back up and running. Don't wait. Just get on it right away and try to. And like you said, we all make mistakes. Mistakes are there. Just learn from it. And as we move on, we got down to the science. We got our cooking class down to, we started off with one camera. Now we got like four cameras that gives different angle when we teach the cooking class. All these kind of things that you would never have learned if you don't try. And if you don't try, you would be sitting here talking about how do we reopen the restaurant versus, wow, we managed to make it through the pandemic. So,
Yeah, I'm impressed by your optimistic. It's really impressive because I think a lot of business owners that they're saying their business are dying and during pandemic, but they were not like you, and they were just let it go, and it's sad. So like you are motivated, I can tell, right? And question: how did you keep your people motivated during pandemic?
Hey, it's I think that is all about like lead by example. I mean, you can ask any of my employees that who's the person that worked the hardest in the restaurant. They probably all the same guy, which is me. But it's maybe him. I don't know. but it's the commitment that you show. And you know, when the pandemic hit, we said, hey, how do we keep all these employees? Or most of them, who wants to work? So we asked, who wants to work? We're going to try to do different things. And a lot of people with families and all the stuff, they were all like on board. And with the help of the government, because the incredible program that were put out, the PPPs and all the stuff, now this revitalization fund, no, they were key. I mean, and I can see why a small business owner doesn't want to deal with all this paperwork and this stuff. But at the end of the day, if you ask for the help, like the Crystal offer and other people, then you have these resources there for you that can help you survive and keep your employed. And then your job to motivate them is just to show them how to do it, show them that it can be done, even though it's something that is not. I never had to box anything before they ship it, but I learn now, and we learn now. And when December hit and we shipped 1,000 packages, we couldn't do it just me and him. So we brought back basically, I want to say 80% of our staff was back to work. And they were all like, hey, let us know if we can help in any way. They're all very incredibly supportive to our business. And, you know, but that's how you survive. I mean, that's, you know, you go into a survival mode, not just us, but also the employees. It says, hey, we can't stay home and do nothing. We need to do something in order to support our family. And we had the opportunity because we didn't sit still and watch the pandemic go by. We just set out to go, no, let's make it through this thing. I don't know how long it's going to be. You know, at the beginning, we were all thinking it's going to be a couple of months. And next thing you know, you're in a year and 3 months and you're sitting there still dealing with this stuff. And it's going to be going on for a while because, you know, I mean, but the motivation on the employees, I think it comes from themselves a lot because the urgency of take care of your family or take care of your life in general, but also it comes when they see people like owners and people that are the part of the ownership of the restaurant that are there just working just as hard. So it motivates them in certain ways. And then, you know, I mean, having a beer at the end of the shift when you do all these things does wonders sometimes, you know, just, you know.
So Stefano, you're doing the marketing part. And my question for you is, how have you been like interacting with your clients, and what is your like schedule look like?
Oh man, I mean, marketing is just kind of, I mean, it's like one of the sort of many things that I responsibilities that I take on just as being part of the business. But in terms of like my schedule, like it ranges anywhere from like training up new employees on how to like fulfill this new online store that we've created. It ranges a lot from like handling a lot of event inquiries. There's also a lot of like trying to pitch a lot of the grad schools or corporations nearby on like doing one of our virtual cooking classes to do like offsites through us. There's also like, you know, editing the newsletter. There's like being a webmaster for the online store. And then, you know, that's, you know, so in terms of like interacting with customers, one thing that I've tried to do recently is just carve out some time, like, you know, 20 minutes a day where I just email a customer, let them know that I'm interested in like chatting with them, set up a time and then just chat for like 20, 30 minutes, ask them, you know, like what they've liked about what we've been doing, what they want to see improve, like, you know, how's the pickup process been? Have you like enjoyed dining in the restaurant? Like, is there anything that you want to see on the menu? So I try and like, you know, talk with those like set aside dedicated time to talk with customers, because it's sort of one thing to chat with someone when they come in, but it's another to like have a set of questions that I ask across like several customers so that I get some sort of systematized response to some of the things we're interested in learning more about. Did
you do this all by yourself, or do you have a team?
I'm currently doing it by myself.
What do you mean I do everything?
I'm in the process of seeing if I can, you know, get some more help, or like, you know, pull people from within the restaurant, like maybe a manager, or ask like a customer for a little bit of consultation, or, you know, now that we talked with someone from the Mid-Peninsula, maybe seeing if we, you know, chat with them at some point.
Yeah, definitely.
So let's talk about like how much like in investment have you been investing in marketing part?
Mm-hmm. You mean just in terms of like percentages or money or time?
Yeah. So let's say financially and time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But you actually mentioned a little bit about time. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say time it probably would make up currently like right now with the priority being like getting people back in the restaurants and focusing on event inquiries, and also focusing on like getting the operations of our online stores smoothed out. I'd say maybe like 10 to 15 hours a week, but the goal would be to ramp that up to like 20 or 30 in like a couple months or so. And then in terms of monetary investment, we probably put in like, did you say like 5% of online sales, or like maybe a little bit less than that? Just not really restaurant sales, but more like what we purely generated from our new online store, probably around like 5% of sales.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the goal would, if we have a stronger, once we have like a stronger game plan in play, that would probably go up a little bit more.
Mm-hmm. How do you drive traffic to your website, to your online store?
Yeah, I think especially with like with our business particularly, our demographic isn't so young. They're typically like a bit older. So we rely a lot. Currently, we're trying to capture as much like organic traffic as we can. So that's just like word of mouth. That's just like making sure our newsletter has subjects that our customers care about. That means like focusing on the products that we know our customers have liked in previous years. And that's also just by doing like just normal promotion through our social media channels. So we're not at the moment really pushing any like a lot of paid promotion. It's more just trying to like where are we strong, and what can we organically take charge of.
And then we'll do a lot of stuff in-house within the four walls, like we'll create flyers that we put on into go boxes and say, here's our new product, here's our new wine club, all these things that we distribute now to customers that come to the restaurant, or people that pick up takeout or order that we ship out. We all create little flyers that give a little more information about what it is that is new, what is it that we're doing new, how, and promote it that way. Very, I would say, extremely organic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like taking our foot traffic and converting it into online traffic, basically.
Nice. So little by little.
Yeah.
Learn to run, walk before you learn to run, they say, no?
Right. So right now, everything is reopening now.
Mm-hmm.
And my question is, what do you think about the new normal? Like, are you gonna switch like the majority of your business online little by little, or are you gonna stay in a traditional way? So how are you gonna navigate in this business new norm?
I think that for us, for him, and for us is to find a way to gradually increase our online sales or our online store or our online presence without compromising the growth back to normal business. So I can comfortably say that we will not take away resources for the indoor dining or in the wall dining, but we need to learn to increase our exposure in the online world. So the two of them go together. You can't really. I mean, we're restaurant people. We can't let go of the restaurant. I mean, if I had to choose between serving 100 meals in a box and 10 in a plate, I will always pick the 10 in a plate. Not because it's a lot less work, just because it's more rewarding. And it's, but it's a thing that we set out to do, the sauces, the pasta, the cooking classes, the kids, all this stuff. It's a thing that we set out to do, and we're going to keep doing it, and we're going to try to keep grow it and become an integral part of our business, meaning we will have the restaurant, but we will also keep the online. So the people that are in Pennsylvania can keep ordering our, tapenade or participate to our cooking classes, or, we don't want to lose that part, because we've learned that it can be a very good business if we learn how to do it the proper way, and we'll get it there little by little. But that wouldn't take away from the restaurant. I mean, that's we are restaurant people. I mean, for us, having people in the seats is a rush, is an adrenaline rush, but it's also a reward of your hard work through the day. When you get to the end of the shift in a restaurant night, and you're that tired, you're like, wow, I serve 200 people, but I serve 200 people. That's incredible. You feed people. You don't make something that is material. You feed, you give people stuff that they put in their body. It's like, it's very, in certain way, very rewarding, but you have to love it because it takes a lot of effort and a lot of time.
That's true. Experience is very different.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you think that people are more open for online resources and online shopping and online marketing and than before?
Yeah, I think, it's funny because I was just talking with a customer the other day and she's like, oh, I was actually head economist of Bank of America and we have some insight on this question. And basically she was saying that the trends that we see, at least purely in terms of e-commerce during the pandemic, are here to stay. So, even the older generations who maybe were a little bit, not resistant, but more reluctant to, use online shopping after the pandemic are much more comfortable with it. So I think the trends in terms of wanting to buy things online is here to stay. In terms of going to a restaurant and things like that, I think people want to go out and eat. So I think that people are gradually moving over to online, but I think sometimes it's easy to get swept up in this excitement of we're in a new world when in reality, a lot of people just like going out to eat. It's not very much more complicated than that. And then, maybe now they buy their underwear online. That's, it's more of a gradual change. It feels big and it seems like things are moving really fast, but at the end of the day, a lot of people adopt these things slowly and it's not going to happen in 5 years or 10 years.
Right. So did you find yourself having educating your customers about online shopping and online ordering? And have you find yourself been doing that?
Oh, definitely. In December when we were closed, we would get anywhere from 5 to 10 phone calls. How do I add this item to my cart? Or even recently, people saying that they weren't sure if their order went through, or if there was an issue with checkout. So yeah, troubleshooting technical issues definitely a significant amount of time. Back in the winter time, a little bit less so now. I'd say people are, now that I think about it, people do seem more comfortable, at least using our platform, or we completely scared them away. One of the two.
Right. So at this phase, what kind of resources and support do you think that you need and to help you navigate your online marketing?
Online marketing? Well, in terms of, honestly, when I think of resources, I'd say the biggest challenge we have now is, I guess, just understanding, or because we use Shopify to run our online store, and we're sort of reaching a point where Shopify was a tool that was designed really well for a couple products and just a lot of individual orders, and we're sort of getting to the point where in order for our business to make sense, we have to do a lot of bulk. So a lot of large shipments and a lot of corporate sponsorships or corporate, sometimes they want to say thank you to their employees, send out 300 gift baskets. That's the kind of business we want to do. So our challenge is, one, marketing side, how do we get connected with, those sorts of corporations? How do we build those relationships? How do we have them see our product as something that they want to purchase and send out to their employees? And on the operations side, at least in terms of the website, is how eventually, ideally we send out 50 packages a day, what's a website or what's a transition that's going to make sense and be able to support that kind of growth. So it's maybe we'll get to the operations side if we succeed with the marketing side.
Do you think a lot of business owners like you guys have been reaching out and they're struggling?
I think you probably know best, right?
What do you? I'm sorry. The question.
So you just mentioned about that right now you need some support and resources. And my question was, do you think many business owners like yourself have been reaching out, or they're just struggling in their own world?
I think that if you want to survive and you have challenges, I mean, it all comes down to recognizing what you can do and what you can't. So there's a lot of things that I cannot do, and there's him, there's the support team that I have that they pass along, or we research and outsource that they can help us. I think that it's all about who you are and what you want to be, and being like, hey, if I cannot do something, there's no reason why I shouldn't do it. I should just find the resources, especially in a community like we are here. I mean, where everybody is open to give you suggestion and to give you advice, even like what he's doing with the customers. I mean, we get great ideas from just talking to them sometimes. And I encourage everybody to reach out to all these organizations or to anybody that can help you. That is something that you don't know, that shouldn't keep you from pursuing an object or a goal. You just learn more and research more and reach out to people that can help you. I mean, I do it with recipes. I do it with all kind of stuff. If I got something that doesn't want to come out, I call one of my friends, say, hey, you want to come over? I'll open a nice bottle of wine and you show me how you did this, or you can give me an opinion, or I give him stuff to try and say, what do you think, And that's what we do with a lot of our stuff, with all of our salumi and all the stuff. We didn't come out as salumi makers, but we learned through, and with Gianluca, who's an incredible guy. He's my right hand and left hand and head man up in that works in Berkeley, but he does all this stuff. We reach out to people, or we trying to figure out ways to improve what it is that we do. We don't stop at no, we can't do it. I mean, of course, if you tell me how do you pack hummus or how do you make it, it's not my business, so I don't have an interest. But everything that has to do with what it is that we do, and it's all affiliated to the concept, right? You try to learn everything that you can and reach out to, in order to make it happen via marketing or logistic or whatever. We reach out to people that know. I mean, the shipping one was a little bit of a challenge because FedEx, UPS, call one guy, call the other guy, and whatever was a little more challenging. But it's all about just go get it, just go ask questions. Just don't sit at home and cope on whatever is happening. Just make the most out of it.
Nice. So what are you optimistic about the business new normal?
Oh, I'm can't wait to have a big party, I'm actually pretty famous because I throw pretty big parties in the restaurant where we close the restaurant and we pour 100 different wine to taste for people. So we do these 2 events, and we do all kind of stuff. We have live music, a guy making mozzarella, and then people buy a ticket. I can't wait to have my Enoteca 100 in December again. Or we usually run it twice a year, once in September, one in December. I hope I can do it in September, but the one in December is going to be epic. We'll have big old, that's what I'm looking forward to. Because this thing of me no hugging, no talking, no mask and whatever, it's a good thing. Hey, we had to do it in order to stop the pandemic, follow the rules, no problem. But now it's time to, get together, get back to normal, get everybody vaccinated, and let's go back to our normal life. And let's have a party.
I can tell you're really optimistic. So you believe everything is going to be back to normal?
The new normal. You call it the new normal. I think that the sanitizing station inside the restaurant, I think the mask wearing and all that kind of stuff is going to stay. But that shouldn't change the way we are or the way we do things. I think that we just need to be a lot more careful, but that shouldn't keep us from hugging each other when we see each other, or, he knows I hug everybody, I'm just like, I'm that way. And that shouldn't keep us from doing that. We just need to be careful about, what we do and how we do it. Wash your hand, wear your mask if you have to, but, let's go back to the new normal. Doesn't necessarily have to be very far from the old normal. We just need to obey more rules. That's it.
Interesting. So what about you, Stefano, as the younger generation? So what do you think about the new normal? What are the things you think it will definitely gonna change? What are the things you think that it's gonna remain as it was before?
So I guess like what do I think is gonna, return from before, and then what I think is gonna like change a lot?
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like it's hard to say. I can only say that like I hope for certain things. So, for example, like I'm really not a big fan of delivery apps, like at all.
Why?
Well, I mean, I completely understand like the convenience aspect of it, but coming from a restaurant, like just the whole way that the businesses are set up is like not really beneficial to restaurants. And one thing that I liked about the pandemic was like there was, a small wave of articles that came out about how like, these DoorDash, Uber Eats basically take out like 30% of every sale, to the point where it's like almost not even worth it for a restaurant to do it, but they almost have to do it because that's where the consumers are. So in terms of the new normal, that's something where I'm like, hoping that, after that wave of people seeing what it actually does to restaurants, there's like, a return to going to your local space, ordering from them, picking up from them directly. But it is something that I think more realistically is going to like continue as a wave where you just see this increase overall in the restaurant industry of like more fast casual, like more delivery, the rise of like virtual restaurants only. So, basically the idea that you have a restaurant that's just a virtual brand. Like, I don't know if you heard of like the Mr. Beast burger or like the Mariah Carey cookies, like things like that, where they use these, decentralized kitchens throughout the United States called ghost kitchens to fulfill these orders through delivery systems. I'm like skeptical, but I think those things are very trendy, so it'll kind of continue, at least for like 5-10 years.
And a lot of the counties actually did help with what you said before about the delivery services and put a cap on the charges once these things start coming out. So they did. Hopefully it won't go back. That's one of the things that I hope it never go back. But I gotta say, a lot of the people were once these things start coming out in the open and the necessity of the restaurant to do it, a lot of the counties, I believe San Mateo has it too, San Francisco, whatever. They put a cap on the percentage of the delivery service, so they couldn't charge anymore 30% or whatever. Now I believe it's capped at 15% now. Hopefully it's not going to change, but who knows?
Yeah, I think at this point, most of the restaurants and small business, they're heavily relying on the delivery apps, mainly because they don't have an ordering and delivering system, right? And or they don't know much about that part. And since I mentioned earlier that most of the small business, they rely on cash flow. They don't have time to, develop some new apps or something, then to generate revenue, right? So the easiest way is to just utilize the existing delivery apps and ordering apps. But it's definitely going to help a lot of business if they know there is something that they can just plug in, and then they can do the delivery themselves, and they can do the ordering themselves. And then they don't have to share, like you mentioned, that like 30% of your profit with those delivery apps, right? Since you're not making that much, right? Think about that, and so definitely, I think. I
guess if I were to be optimistic. I think there actually are some companies that do zero. They do zero commission delivery for restaurants.
Yeah, but it's just the beginning stage, right? And once they're getting more popular and more traffic on their app, and you never know.
Yeah, so I would say I'm optimistic that those ones start to do better, or those ones gain popularity.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So what are your advice for the business owners, since your business have been going really well, and so what are your advice?
I'd say just don't give up. Stay strong and go for it. Just try, make mistakes if you have to, but you don't learn if you don't make the mistake. Just go for it. Just try different things. Reach out to your customer, and like you said, engage with your customer, not just when they come in, but also maybe when they place orders and whatever, give them a call, see, things like that can, help you survive through this. I mean, it just, for me, is just keep going, don't stop, just try something new. If you make a mistake, hey, you made a mistake. I mean, if you don't try, you won't make mistakes. That's the bottom line. I mean,
any advice for our marketing?
I'd say it always comes down to like prioritization. I mean, we can't do everything, and that goes for pretty much any sort of function in a small business. So just, prioritize and understand the way that you want to prioritize. So whether that's return on investment, just purely, whether that's something that's a time-based return on investment, just think about how you want to prioritize and follow it. So that way you can focus on the things that are going to like bring you that exponential return, as opposed to something that you just sink a lot of time into and, maybe don't see a lot of results in.
Pleasure having you guys tonight.
Thank you, Nancy. It was an honor to be here for your first show. I mean,
we really had a great conversation tonight, right?
Absolutely.
And we sparked a lot of fires during the conversation. I think at the meantime, we also inspired the community and our audiences that let them know that there is hope, and there is always there is a will, there is a way.
Absolutely.
And then I think I am definitely inspired by your optimism.
Oh, thank you.
And then and then the way that you're doing business and the way that you're serving the community.
Thank you.
And this is one of the missions of MarketWatch 360. We just want to connect the small business and the local organizations and the resources, and we want to help people during pandemic. And if you are struggling with your business, or if you're looking for business solutions and the resources, and we have a link below that you can click, you can apply for a free business consultation and to help you navigate business during pandemic. And thank you for joining us, and stay tuned. We're going to have our next show next Thursday, and see you soon. Bye, everyone.
Ciao.